My name is Lauren Whitaker. I'm 43 years old. The night my husband made me confess everything in front of our daughters, I didn't fight him. I didn't deny it. I just sat there, staring at three faces I used to be the center of, and realized I had already lost them long before that night. If you had asked me 5 years ago what my life looked like, I would have said it was stable, predictable, safe. My husband, Daniel Whitaker, was the kind of man people trusted instantly. High school history teacher, calm voice, patient eyes, the kind of father who showed up to everything, soccer games, recitals, parent meetings, without ever needing to be asked. We had 3 daughters. Ava, 14, observant, too smart for her own good. Chloe, 12, sensitive, always watching, always feeling. And Mia, 9, still soft around the edges, still believing everything we told her. They adored him. They used to adore me too. I told myself the problem was that nothing ever changed. Same routines, same conversations, same life. And somewhere along the way, I stopped feeling seen. It started at a conference 4 years ago, Chicago to Dallas, 3 days. Corporate networking, panels, forced smiles. I met him at the hotel bar. His name was Ethan Cole. He had that kind of presence that makes you feel chosen. Like out of everyone in the room, he had decided you were the most interesting one there. "You look like you're somewhere else," he said, sliding into the seat beside me. I laughed. "Maybe I am." "Good," he smiled. "I don't like competing with reality." That should have been the moment I walked away. Instead, I stayed. We talked for hours about work, about marriage, about how comfort slowly turns into invisibility if you're not careful. He didn't know me, but somehow he saw exactly what I wanted him to see. He kissed me in the elevator, and I kissed him back. That night, I crossed a line I told myself I'd never cross. And the worst part? I didn't feel guilt. I felt alive. I told myself it was a mistake, a one-time thing, something people did and then buried. I went home, hugged my daughters, let Daniel kiss my forehead in the kitchen like he always did. And for a moment, I almost believed I could forget. But Ethan didn't let me. He texted, called, waited, and every time my phone lit up with his name, I answered. It didn't happen all at once. That would have been easier to stop. Instead, it grew slowly. One message turned into 10. One trip turned into monthly flights. One lie turned into a life built entirely on them. "Work's getting busy," I'd tell Daniel, packing a suitcase. "We understand," he'd say, always calm, always supportive. Ava would stand in the doorway sometimes, arms crossed. "You missed my game last week." "I know, baby. I'll make the next one." I didn't. Chloe stopped asking after a while. Mia just hugged me tighter before I left, like she could feel something slipping even if she didn't understand what. In Dallas, I was someone else. Not a mother, not a wife, just a woman someone wanted. Ethan would open hotel room doors like he'd been waiting his whole life for me to walk through them. "You don't look like someone who belongs to anyone," he'd whisper. And I let myself believe that. Back home, I played my role. Dinner at the table, photos on social media, smiles that looked real enough to pass. Daniel would send me pictures when I was away. The girls at the park, movie nights, ice cream runs, small, ordinary moments. The kind I told myself I was doing all this for. I'd reply with hearts, while Ethan was in the shower behind me. My friend Rachel noticed first. "You're different," she said one afternoon, watching me stir a coffee I wasn't drinking. "Different how?" "Like you're not really here anymore." I smiled. "Just work stress." She didn't believe me. I could see it in her eyes. But she didn't push. Maybe she didn't want to be the one to say it out loud. By the second year, the cracks were visible. Ava stopped telling me things. Chloe's grades slipped. Mia's teacher asked if everything was okay at home. Daniel started asking questions. Not accusing, just careful. "You seem tired," he said one night, standing in the kitchen doorway. "I am. Maybe you should slow down, spend more time here." "We need the money," I almost said. Instead, I just nodded and booked another flight the next morning. By the 3rd year, I wasn't even pretending anymore. Not to myself. I knew exactly what I was doing. I just didn't stop, because I believed I could have both. The life Daniel built and the life Ethan made me feel. Meant. I thought I was in control. I thought I was careful. I thought I could keep balancing everything forever. I was wrong. By the 4th year, things started to change. Not on my side. On his. Ethan stopped treating it like something temporary. At first, it was small things. Stay an extra day. Call in sick. Tell them your flight got delayed. I always had an excuse ready. A boundary I told myself I wouldn't cross. But boundaries blur when no one is enforcing them. And I wasn't. One night, lying in a hotel bed with the curtains half open and the city lights cutting across his face, he said it. I've been thinking about us. I felt it immediately. That shift, that weight. We've been doing this for 4 years, Lauren, he continued. At some point, this stops being a situation and starts being a life. I didn't answer, because I already knew where he was going. I can leave my wife, he said. I've thought about it. Seriously, we could do this for real. The room felt smaller, like the air had thinned without warning. I can't leave my kids, I said quietly. They'd adapt, he replied. People do it all the time. Joint custody, holidays. No, I cut in. Daniel would never agree to that. He studied me then, not with affection, with calculation. Then don't give him a choice. The words landed wrong, sharp, cold. You're asking me to destroy my family, I said. I'm asking you to stop pretending you still have one. I should have seen it then, the truth hiding inside his words. But instead, I did what I'd been doing for years. I made excuses. For him. For myself. I just need time, I told him. You've had 4 years. I know. Then choose. I didn't, because I didn't want to choose. I wanted everything, and I had convinced myself I could keep it.
So,
We didn't talk about it again after that. Not directly, but something had shifted. There was pressure now, an expectation. A future I didn't want, but didn't walk away from either. Back home, things were better. At least on the surface. I was trying. Showing up more. Sitting through dinners without checking my phone. Attending one of Ava's games. Helping Chloe with homework. Reading with Mia before bed. Daniel noticed. You seem different, he said one night, his voice softer than usual. In a good way? He smiled. Yeah, in a good way. I've just been thinking, I said, about what actually matters. He stepped closer, brushed a strand of hair behind my ear. I'm glad you figured it out. So was I. Or at least, I told myself I was. 3 months later, Ethan died. It didn't feel real at first. It came through a phone call, my office line, a number I didn't recognize. Hello? A pause. Then a woman's voice. This is Samantha Cole, Ethan's wife. My entire body went still. He died last night, she said. The words didn't register. Not immediately. He was in a car accident on his way home. I couldn't speak. You were one of his last calls, she continued, her tone measured, controlled. I thought you should know. The line went dead. I sat there at my desk, staring at nothing, hearing everything. Ethan was dead, just like that. 4 years, gone in a sentence. And the first thing I felt wasn't grief, it was relief. No more lies to manage, no more choices to avoid, no more future pressing in from directions I didn't want to face. It was over, clean, final. Then came the guilt, heavy, suffocating, because somewhere a woman had just lost her husband. Children had just lost their father, and I had lost something I wasn't supposed to have in the first place. I went to the funeral, told Daniel it was a colleague. He didn't question it. Of course he didn't. He trusted me. I stood in the back, watched Samantha cry, watched 2 children cling to her like the world had just split open beneath them. And all I could think was, that should have been me, that grief, that destruction, that consequence. But it wasn't. I walked out of that church and went home, and did what I had always done best. I pretended. I became everything I should have been, overnight, present, attentive, available. I cooked dinners, sat through conversations, showed up to games, listened, smiled, stayed. Daniel noticed immediately. You're happier, he said. I am less stressed. I realized something, I told him. I was focusing on the wrong things. He pulled me into a hug, a real one, the kind I hadn't let myself feel in years. I missed this, he said quietly. Guilt burned through me, but I held him anyway. Weeks passed, then months, and nothing happened. No calls, no suspicion, no consequences. I started to believe it, that I had gotten away with it, that Ethan's death had closed the door on everything I'd done, that I could step back into my life like none of it had ever existed. I thought the worst thing that could happen had already happened. I was wrong. My birthday was on a Saturday, 43. Daniel planned dinner, just us and the girls. Our favorite Italian place, simple, familiar, safe. I remember feeling hopeful, like this was a reset, a clean start, a version of my life where I made better choices. We sat down, ordered appetizers. The girls were laughing. Mia was telling a story about school. Chloe was correcting her. Ava was scrolling on her phone, but smiling anyway. Daniel poured wine, looked at me, calm, steady. Before we eat, he said, Lauren has something she wants to tell everyone. My heart stopped. I looked at him. Really looked, and something in his expression didn't match the moment. Too calm. Too still. Daniel, what are you talking about? His gaze didn't waver. Tell them. A pause. Heavy. Suffocating. Tell our daughters what you've been doing for the last 4 years. The room tilted. Not visibly, but inside me, everything shifted out of place. I don't know what you mean, I said, my voice already breaking. Yes, you do. He reached for his glass, took a slow sip, set it down with precision. Tell them about Ethan. Ava looked up. Chloe froze. Mia's fork hovered midair. Tell them about Dallas, Daniel continued. Every word was measured, controlled. Tell them about every time you left this house and chose him instead of us. Daniel, not here, I whispered. Please, we can talk about this at home. No, the word wasn't loud, but it cut through everything. You wanted to celebrate your birthday with your family, he said. So celebrate. His eyes locked onto mine. But first, tell them the truth. My chest tightened. How do you... His wife called me. That was it. That was the moment everything collapsed. 2 weeks ago, he added. She had my number saved under emergency contact. She thought I deserved to know. A sharp, humorless breath escaped him. She told me everything, Lauren. The trips, the lies, the 4 years you erased us. Ava was staring at me now. Not confused, not curious. Something worse. Aware. Mom? Chloe whispered. Mia looked between us, eyes wide, searching for something to make sense. Mom. I can explain, I said. The most useless sentence in the world. Then explain to them. Daniel gestured toward the girls. Explain to Ava why you missed her 8th grade graduation. My throat closed. Explain to Chloe why you weren't at her first piano recital. Tears blurred everything. Explain to Mia why her teacher asked if something was wrong at home. Stop, I whispered. Tell them. I turned. 3 faces. 3 versions of trust I had already broken long before this moment. I made a mistake, I said, my voice shaking. I'm so sorry. What kind of mistake? Ava asked. Her voice wasn't loud, but it was sharp, precise. I swallowed. I had a relationship with someone from work. Silence. It's over now, I rushed. He died. It's done. I came back. I'm here. For how long? Chloe, crying already. For how long, Mom? I couldn't answer. Lauren. Daniel's voice was ice now. How long? 4 years. Ava stood up so fast her chair scraped loudly against the floor. You've been cheating on Dad for 4 years? She said. Her voice cracked, but didn't break. While lying to us? It wasn't like that. What was it like? Chloe cried. You were just gone all the time. We thought you were working. I was trying to... You were with him, Ava cut in. Not a question. A verdict. I'm sorry, I said again. Over and over. I love you, all of you. I never stopped. You're a liar. The words landed harder than anything Daniel had said. Ava's eyes were filled with something I had never seen directed at me before. You lied to all of us. For years. Daniel stood. Girls, he said calmly, get your coats. What? I looked at him, panicked. No, it's my birthday. We're supposed to... You don't get to have dinner with us. His voice was steady, final. You don't get to celebrate anything. Daniel, please. You destroyed this family, he said. Now you get to sit with that. Don't do this in front of them, I whispered desperately. He didn't even hesitate. You did this in front of them. Each word, deliberate. Every time you lied. Every time you left. Every time you chose him over them. Mia was crying now. Chloe too. Ava just stood there, shaking. This is your choice, Daniel said. Live with it. He turned, walked away. The girls followed. Chloe didn't look back. Mia hesitated, but only for a second. Ava stopped at the edge of the table, turned, met my eyes. I hate you. Then she was gone. I sat there, alone, while the restaurant kept moving around me, plates clinking, people laughing, waiters passing by like nothing had happened. A few minutes later, a server approached, smiling, holding a cake. Happy birthday, he said gently, setting it down in front of me. 43 candles, all lit. I stared at them, at the flickering light, at the empty chairs across from me. And for the first time in 4 years, there were no lies left to hide behind. Just the truth, and the silence that came after it. That was 3 months ago. I still remember the way the candles melted into the frosting while I sat there, not moving, not breathing, just watching everything I had built collapse into something unrecognizable. Daniel filed for divorce 2 weeks later. He didn't warn me, didn't argue, didn't give me a chance to negotiate anything back. The papers were delivered to my office, in front of my team, a quiet, calculated kind of humiliation. The kind that doesn't need raised voices to land exactly where it's supposed to. I didn't fight it. There was nothing left to fight for. The court proceedings were clinical, cold, efficient. Daniel's lawyer had everything: flight records, hotel receipts, credit card statements, text messages. 4 years of proof laid out like evidence in a case that had already been decided. My lawyer tried. She's a good mother, he said. One mistake shouldn't... Daniel's lawyer didn't even let him finish. He pulled up records. Ava's therapy sessions. Anxiety that started around the time I began disappearing. Chloe's grades dropping. Teacher notes about her withdrawal. Mia's pediatrician documenting behavioral changes. Fear. Confusion. Attachment issues. All 3 of my daughters had been unraveling, while I was in Dallas pretending I could live 2 lives without consequences. The judge looked at me like I was something he had already made up his mind about. Mrs. Whitaker, he said, your choices have demonstrably harmed your children. That word stayed with me. Harmed. Not hurt. Not affected. Harmed. Daniel was granted primary custody. I was given supervised visitation. Twice a month. Pending evaluation. Supervised. Like I was a risk. Like I needed to be monitored around my own children. The first visit was at a family services center. A room that didn't feel like anything. Neutral walls. Plastic toys. A woman named Karen sitting in the corner with a notebook, watching everything. Ava didn't come. Daniel said she had a panic attack when she heard where she'd be going. Her therapist advised against forcing her, so it was just Chloe and Mia. They sat across from me, farther than they needed to. Hi, I said softly. I missed you. Mia stared at her shoes. Chloe looked at the wall. How's school? I asked. No answer. I brought you books, I added quickly. We could read together, like we used to. We read with Dad now. Chloe's voice. Flat. Final. I swallowed. I know I messed up, I said. I know I hurt you. But I love you so much. Mia finally spoke. You don't love us. Her voice was small, but steady. You left us for him. That's not true, I said immediately. I never stopped loving you. Then why did you leave all the time? There it was. The question I had spent years avoiding. I started. But there was no version of that sentence that didn't sound like a lie. The truth was simple. I chose him. Every time. The hour ended. Karen stood. Time's up. They left without hugging me, without saying goodbye. Karen stayed behind, closed her notebook, then looked at me. I need to be honest with you, she said gently. Your daughters are experiencing significant trauma. The word again. Trauma. Chloe's therapist recommends limiting contact for now, she continued, and Mia has been having nightmares. My chest tightened. What kind of nightmares? Karen hesitated. About you leaving and not coming back. I nodded. Because what else was there to do? The next visit, only Mia came. Chloe was in therapy. Ava still refused. Mia sat across from me again. Smaller somehow. Quieter. Can we talk? I asked. She shook her head. Dad says I have to be here, she said. But I don't have to talk to you. I understand you're upset. I'm not upset. She looked up at me then, eyes clearer than they should have been at 9 years old. I'm sad. The word hit harder than anything else. You made Dad cry, she continued. You made Ava sick. You made Chloe scared all the time. I never meant to. You did it anyway. 4 words. No anger. No yelling. Just truth. Work didn't last much longer. HR already knew. Ethan's wife had contacted them before she contacted Daniel. Filed a complaint. An investigation followed. No official violation. Different divisions. Different cities. Technically allowed. Morally, it didn't matter. People stopped talking to me. Meetings went quiet when I walked in. Emails started including HR on everything. I quit before they could decide it for me. Now I work retail, folding clothes, smiling at customers who don't know my name, don't know my story, don't know what I traded away. My friends disappeared. Rachel sent one message. I knew something was wrong, she wrote, but I can't be around this. I have kids too. That was it. My parents, my mother cried. My father stopped speaking to me entirely. Daniel was more of a son to him than I deserved to be a daughter. I moved into a studio apartment. Small. Quiet. Too quiet. No arguments over the remote. No footsteps down the hallway. No Daniel humming in the kitchen. Just silence. Sometimes I check his social media. From an account he hasn't blocked. Photos of the girls. Ava on honor roll. Chloe at a piano competition. Mia scoring her first goal. All the moments I'm not part of. There's a woman in those photos now, standing beside them. Her name is Emily, 3rd grade teacher. Warm smile, soft eyes. The girls post about her. Emily took us to the zoo. She helped me with homework. She's really nice. She's doing everything I should have done. Last month was Ava's 15th birthday. I wasn't invited. I found out through pictures, cake, candles, smiles. I sent a message. Happy birthday, I love you. No reply. 3 days later, Daniel texted, Ava asked me to tell you not to contact her directly anymore. All communication goes through me. My own daughter didn't want to hear from me. I called him. He answered. What do you want, Lauren? I just want to talk to them, I said, to explain. You explained, he cut in, at your birthday dinner. That was different. No, he said, that was the truth. They're my daughters too. Silence. Then, no, he said quietly. They're mine. You gave that up. I couldn't breathe. I'm trying to fix this. You can't. And the worst part? He wasn't saying it to hurt me. He was saying it because he believed it. I am their mother, I whispered. You were? The line went dead. A week later, I saw Ava at a volleyball game. I wasn't invited, but it was public, so I went. Sat in the back. Watched her play. She saw me afterward. Walked over. Stopped a few feet away. Why are you here? I wanted to see you, I said. You were amazing. You don't get to do this. Her voice didn't shake. You don't get to show up and pretend you care. I do care. No, she said. You cared about him, about Dallas, about your affair. Each word landed clean. Precise. You didn't care about us. That's not true. Yes, it is. She stepped back, and everyone knows it. Then she turned, walked back to Daniel, to Emily, to her real family. And I went home, alone. People ask me if I regret it, the affair. I say yes, of course I do. But that's not the whole truth. The whole truth is, I regret getting caught. I regret that Ethan died and forced everything into the open. I regret that dinner, that moment, that collapse. But the 4 years before that, the feeling of being wanted, seen, alive. There's a part of me, I don't say this out loud, that still remembers it. And that's the most shameful thing of all. I lost my husband, my daughters, my friends, my life. And somewhere inside me, there's still a version of who I was back then that doesn't fully regret it. I traded 16 years of love for 4 years of something that felt like more. Now I have a studio apartment, a retail job, and supervised visits twice a month with daughters who can barely look at me. That's what it costs. Not just your marriage. Everything. And by the time you understand that, there's nothing left to get back. Only a life you have to watch, from the outside, knowing you built it and then destroyed it yourself. And no one is coming to fix it.